91X.
Radio station's 91X. We're live at the Coachella Flophouse. Please welcome Japandroids.
Hi.
Give a clap right
Wow.
there. That's what's supposed to happen.
Excellent sound applause or sound effect applause.
You're very welcome for the excellency of that. We've been practicing all freaking weekend. When you guys walk in and a Canadian band's walking out, excuse me, is there some kind of a secret handshake that goes on? What is it with the Canadian bands that us as Americans will never get? What is it?
Oh boy.
I mean, we can't let those secrets out. You know,
Well,
it's a secret club.
Well, then
that we
explain
have.
to me why
How
is
could
it that
it won't be a secret club if we tell you.
Okay, well then why is it that since the 60s, maybe even earlier, we have been invaded by people that we don't even know are Canadians? Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, and the list goes on, and now you guys. You come up with a name like Japandroids, people automatically go, well, they're
I like
obviously
that
not.
segue. Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, and Japandroids.
Well,
That's
true.
Good. That's
it's
good.
true. I'm not trying to blow smoke up your collective arses, but here's the bottom line on it. Not everybody knows that you guys are from not where most Canadian bands are from. You're from the West Coast, yes?
We are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been just one super hardcore band, the Paolas, and who else?
Oh, I mean,
there's been some. You know, it's
who else
not
is-
as big as Toronto or Montreal by any means, but I mean,
Black Mountain,
Black Mountain,
New Pornographers,
Yes, okay.
You know, there's
Destroyer.
Destroyer.
But
yeah.
nobody knew they were from Canada till you just brought it up.
We're walking amongst you. You don't even know.
That's the problem.
You know?
We were saying that to Stars. Everybody loves
You go up
Stars,
and you
but
meet
people
anybody.
don't go.
They could be Canadian.
Carly Rae
Be
Jepsen.
sure. Yeah, Carly Rae.
Carly
she's
Rae
from
Jepsen.
BC.
She's from Mission, BC, small town outside of Vancouver.
You could have done
And
us a
she's
favor.
dominating the fucking pop charts.
Yeah, but you could have done us a
bro.
favor and kept her. We would have been okay with that. Did she
Well,
write
do you want
that
me to
song?
start a list of who you could have kept?
You know what? Go. I guess. I would love to know.
We don't have time.
You know, well, give us
long
give us
list.
three. Give us three that we should have kept that were too big in Canada that you didn't want at all. It's okay. Three we won't kill anybody. It's good. See, you can't even think of three. See,
I just trying.
We're just Canadians are polite. We
That's
don't.
right.
Like
I
to
know
brag
that.
most people.
That's why I'm married to one. Because
Oh,
they're
there you
politest
go.
things in the world. How often do you guys?
healthcare?
We're trying to steal that.
Yeah.
Trust me, we're trying to steal that. How often do you guys get to come down here and hang and do stuff? Or are you basing yourselves still out of Vancouver, or have you done what some other bands like Metric do, where they take that Canadian grant and go to Brazil for 5 years?
I mean, we're loosely based in Vancouver, but our home is the road. You know, we don't really have a home anywhere. We haven't been home in about 3 months on this run. And before that, we were gone for 4 months, and before that, we were gone for a couple months. So we touch down in Vancouver every now and again. But
Do you mainly write in Vancouver, record in Vancouver, or
we still
do you
record there, yeah.
still recording there?
Yeah, we've recorded everything we've done since Post Nothing at the same studio, The Hive, which is sadly closing, actually. Yeah, we've done basically all of our, most of our recordings have all been done in Vancouver at The Hive with Jesse Gender.
Okay, we are here with Japandroids. We're going to take a quick break. It's 91X, and you can check out more of the stuff at 91x.com. All right, we're back. We're here with Japandroids at the Coachella Flophouse. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Andy. All right, we're back at the Coachella Flophouse. Japandroids are here. What do you guys know about our fair city of San Diego? What bands do you know from our town?
Oh, lots.
I mean, everything that John Reese has been involved in.
Yeah, the whole Swami Records.
Yeah.
family.
We're really big fans of Hot Snakes.
Drive Like Jehu.
Drive Like Jehu.
Did you know that your good friend John Reese did a little Easter show with Rocket from the Crypt unannounced at his bar called Bar Pink?
Yeah,
We did know that, actually.
Yeah, we were watching that.
It was
actually.
I was on the air when the first text came through, and I just wanted to call him and go, "You are such a bastard for doing this." When I'm on the air,
Our sound guy, Lewis, and our lighting guy, Bob, are like both like really, really, really big Rocket fans, like one of their favorite bands. And they were like, we were in Europe when it happened, this is like, because it was only really recently.
yeah, it was Easter Sunday.
Yeah, so we were still in Europe when that happened, but they were freaking out and watching it on their iPhones, like just a video of it, and blasting it in the backstage before one of our shows. So yeah, we did actually get to see it.
Yeah, it was pretty scary because when you're 6 miles away, it hurts worse when you're
Yeah.
6,000 miles away. Like you guys couldn't have made the show.
Yeah,
you were watching it on Vine or something, I would imagine at that point, or some little YouTube video.
Yeah.
So Rocket from the Crypt, Jay, who anything John Reese has touched, I should say. What else? Anything else you know from San Diego? Iron Butterfly, you remember them? No, that's too old. Okay.
Iron Butterfly from San Diego, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know the riff.
Oh, I know the song.
Everybody knows the song. Nothing else? Nothing else at all? See, that's fine with us. If that's all you know is Rocket from the Crypt, that's fine.
Yeah, the whole Swami Records, like that whole family, pretty much everything associated with them, all the bands that John Reese and Rick Froberg have ever been in, we're just like that whole family of bands. There's got to be about 10 or 12 of them. We're like really big fans of all that stuff. So-
Blackheart's from there too, right?
Blackheart Procession? Yes.
Yeah.
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 Well, you got to come down and hang out. We'll,
we come out pretty regularly.
We played the Casbah about
we'll take you to
15
John's
million
house.
times.
There's a tour. You can go to John's house.
there?
Really?
See the studio.
Wow.
I'm completely messing with you, but I love that. Wouldn't that be great? If he's like the Elvis Presley of San Diego. You know what I mean?
He's definitely a kind of a musical ambassador for sure. I think he's like one of those people that well, first and foremost because he's never left, and he's in making music there for so long, and based the record label out of there. And I mean, like you just ask us like, what bands do you know from San Diego? And like when I think of San Diego and I think of music, I think of him and all the bands that he's been in. So
there's a really funny story I'll tell you because we can drag on the web with this thing, but the classiest thing that happened in the last couple of years is Dave Grohl's on stage. Foo Fighters, like, sold out.
Is this in San Diego?
This is San Diego, Cox Arena, and he goes, the first time I came to San Diego, he's standing on stage, he's got Pat Smear here, and he's got all these guys in this band. First time I came to San Diego, he was playing with his DC hardcore band, what are they called? Scream. And he gets into a fight with some skater kids, and John Reese came to the rescue, because John Reese booked the show. John was actually the promoter of the show, came to the rescue and scared off the little punk rock skateboarder kids so that Dave Grohl didn't get beat up. Because, like, Nirvana, if they would have killed Dave Grohl at that point, we wouldn't have had Nirvana. So John Reese actually is responsible for Nirvana doing their thing. But he's on stage and he's going, "What's that guy's name? Because he couldn't remember. He couldn't remember his name. He kept going Speedo. Like he kept calling him Speedo, and it's like really funny because like all these people are sitting there going, "We don't know who that guy is," because he's just so underground and cool. But so Dave Grohl owes his whole career to John Reese, and you can tell that story to anybody you want.
all right.
Because you guys are good storytellers.
So more or less, that's like Nirvana's like a San Diego band, really. If you want to just take
Yeah,
this
you
kind
can
of
put
like
it
you
that
want to
way.
further
You can
extend
put it
this
that
like a little
way,
bit
yeah.
more.
You should
yeah.
ask us what San Diego bands we know again. And that
Which
was-
San Diego bands you know again?
Nirvana.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
they're great.
My favorite.
Great San Diego band.
Let me ask you, jump to the next thing. First of all, I'm going to say this is Japandroids are here. We're going to take a quick break and come back. It's naughtyrex.com for everything. I mean, you're rolling?
Hey Mel, did you know Nirvana's from San Diego?
They are now. Okay, we've been talking about San Diego bands and stuff. When you guys were doing your stuff early in Vancouver, was the Seattle scene influential at all across that side of the border? Did your friends and bands, did you guys come down to Seattle to see it? Or were they coming up and playing gigs up there? Because it always seemed like...
Both. I like there's on the one hand there's bands that come out of Seattle that would play Vancouver more often than they would play other places just because it was, a short drive. So we would get to see, certain bands play more than other people got to see them. And then at the same time, there were bands that would tour and they wouldn't actually cross the border to play Vancouver. They would play Seattle and not Vancouver. So when we were growing up, Seattle used to be one of those things where a band was coming in, Seattle was as close as they would come to see it. So we used to go down all the time. And we still do that. We just went to see
45
Hot
minute road?
Snakes in Seattle when we were last year
That's
because
right.
they weren't playing Vancouver. So we just drove down. We were home from tour and went to see Hot Snakes play. So we still do that now.
What
Like
is it,
it's
about
a-
45 minutes down there? What's the...
No, it's 3 hours.
yeah.
3 hours?
And of course the border, which
What
is a
kind of car
wild
do you
card.
have? You need to get a faster car.
Don't have one.
Yeah.
You need to get a faster... So it's a 3-hour drive. It's like San Diego to L.A. on a bad day, you know?
Yeah,
Same kind of
same
a...
deal, yeah.
That's not bad. So it was part of the musical element in growing up then. You could actually pop down to see bands and stuff. Because a lot of bands are afraid to cross the border. You guys have a little stricter drug policy. And
That's
some
true.
bands just...
There are also bands that like were never really known that well outside of the Pacific Northwest, and because we're like that are from Seattle, and because we were from Vancouver, like we would know about them and we would listen to records and they would be a really big deal to us. But if you traveled further east to the East Coast or something, like they'd never
Right.
really taken off in the same way, or people didn't know about the same way. Like Mercy Devils is definitely like a band from Seattle. It's like one of our favorite bands of all time.
I saw
And
Pretty Girls Make Graves. I don't know how many times.
yeah,
in
Blood
Vancouver,
Brothers
too.
saw like a million times from Seattle back in the day. And yeah, so de facto Pacific Northwest.
So the scene was pretty vibrant back in those days. Was that a lot of inspiration for you guys to do what you're doing? Were you popping down there to see bands before you formed your band?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I think, I think the most influential scene, though, for me at least, in terms of just me wanting to play in bands, was just when we actually lived in Victoria, which is a town not too far away from Vancouver. We both went to school there, and getting to see a lot of local bands in the Victoria local music scene. Bands like Atlas Strategic, which is Dan Bachner from Divine Fits and Wolf Parade, Handsome First, etc. That was his first local band in Victoria. We used to see them quite a bit, and bands like Run Chico Run, Frog Eyes, Chet. There was a bunch of bands that were playing a lot in Victoria, who didn't really necessarily get a whole bunch of success outside of there, but were hugely influential on us. Not necessarily in terms of songwriting, but just more in terms of inspiring us to, start playing in a band.
I will tell John Reese you guys said hello. Did you say hi to him at the Hot Snake show, by the way, when you got there?
No, we didn't get a chance to meet him.
No, just worship
We'll make-
from
we'll
afar.
make
But if you do see him, please tell him.
We will.
Say what's up.
Well,
from
what are you
us.
doing when is Ink and Iron? Josh? June 8th. What are you doing June 8th? They're doing their first.
We're on tour.
You could just
Not
put
now.
out any date and we're on tour,
Yeah.
honestly.
We have to change that date. We'll talk to your road manager. You can change the date.
Oh,
When it comes-
okay, yeah,
They're
yeah.
playing this massive Ink and Iron festival at Long Beach next to the Queen Mary.
We'll be on the East Coast, sadly.
Yeah, we will.
We'll talk to the label then.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll talk to John. He'll make it happen.
Yeah, talk to our people.
Japandroids, thank you very much. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
And continued success.
Thank you.
It is 91X.
91